Hello, Scrappy Peep. Suzanna here today to share with you this Christmas in July layout created with the Peppermint Kisses collection from Vicki Boutin. So I have two sheets from the 6x8 paper pad that are going to be the foundation for my background there. I like to do this. I like to stagger them. It brings a lot of color to the layout, as well as it's just a simple background. I have included the actual top of the page as well because I like, especially on that ledger paper, the heavy header, the selvage strip that is there. So I need a way to be able to cover those holes, and I know I'm going to be able to do that with embellishments. So also in the 6x8 paper pad, which is really handy, are the pocket cards, or a few of the pocket cards, and they are actually 3x4 instead of shrunk down. So I want to use those somewhere in the layout, more to bring some of that heavier teal color to the page. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet. I love these poinsettias, and I love the black background that they're on. They provide a really nice contrast that pop the poinsettias, so I want to fussy cut a few of those to use as embellishments. I did get the goodie bag that has, I believe the goodie bag has a couple of those, but I really like the look of the black, and so actually the goodie bag does not have them. Perhaps the embellishment collection might, but I didn't get that. So I'm going to fussy cut those. I'm going to spare you the agony of watching those. This is a thicker paper, so cardstock. So you want to make sure that you have really sharp scissors as you're doing the fussy cutting. So also to add some fun texture, I have Spellbinders metal dies, and I have from the Sealed collection, I have the squiggles, as well as the holly sprigs. Unfortunately, the holly sprigs is sold out over at a cherry on top. But when they come back in stock, sign yourself up for an email. They are a super great way of adding some texture to your layouts, your Christmas layouts. So I highly recommend those. And then these that I'm using here with that gold cardstock there are the Sealed squiggles, and they're great for more than just Christmas. I use them all year round. They just add, like I said before, a fun texture, and especially when you cut them out with this shimmery gold, it adds a fun dimension to the page, as well as layouts, as well as layering. So I use these a lot. You do not have to use them with the wax seals, but you can if you want to. So I just cut off the long stems that are sort of the location for the wax seals. So cutting out a bunch of things to add texture and dimension to these fussy cut poinsettias is the idea here. So I've decided that my ATG gun and I are not friends. I've gotten so used to putting things down and lifting them up with ease that you just can't do that with the ATG gun. So I wanted a little bit more length underneath the photo strip that is going to go all the way across there. And so you can see I just cut a piece of the 6x8 paper that I knew was going to be behind that photo there. See, perfect, covers that hole and gives me a little bit more length to put the poinsettias that are still, so that you can actually see the pattern in the pattern paper instead of most of it being hidden behind the photo. So that photo was not 3x4, and so in order to provide a little bit of balance in that 3x4 card, I just trimmed it off, and my trimmer was off camera. And so some of the things that you're going to see me do are just trimming or die cutting off camera, because there's just not a lot of room on my space that while I'm filming, and honestly, you don't need to be able to see that, right? So I really need new plates on my Big Shot, and I know I have them. I'm just too lazy to go find them and get them out. And so there's a little bit of a wear pattern in the plates. And so that's why I had to fussy cut the straight line. And I actually don't mind fussy cutting the straight line. So I am using those Sealed metal dies that I've cut to add. See, look at that fun texture and just the dimension that adds to these poinsettias. They were great as they are, but they are just perfect with that. So that sprig up the top, the evergreen bough, is from the goodie bag. I absolutely love the goodie bag because it's lots of bits and pieces that you can add to build layers and build texture on your pages, which you know I'm all about. So that holiday, acetate holiday and the star are also from the goodie bag. So I have that whole still, and I want a little bit of contrast, and I love that white just ripped verbiage, Christmas verbiage, up the top there, and how that adds, it A, covers the whole, but B, it adds to the design because it's providing contrast to the color there, and it actually draws your eye to the color. So I've decided where everything's going to go. Now I'm going to try and keep things where they were, and just adhere everything down. I'm trying to, sometimes I adhere as I go. Sometimes, especially with these layers, I need to build the page first and then put things down. Pardon my big old head there. So I liked the holiday up the top here because I thought that I would split the title and it would go at the top and the bottom. But I changed my mind. I also thought that maybe I might have a lot of journaling, and so I would journal both in the pocket card as well as on the ledger paper. But there's just too much up the top and not enough down the bottom, even if I were to put the journaling in there. So you can see I'm ripping off the bottom stems of these sealed sprigs. I don't need them, or I'm using it to actually hold the adhesive there, because I have used double-sided tape under both of those poinsettias. So one of the other things that I like to buy, collections that I love, you know I love this collection, and you know I'm going to use it more than once if I've bought the paper pad as well as the washi. And I also like the smaller size of the paper pad as well as having the washi because I can use those in my memory planner with the smaller patterns in the pattern paper. I also love having the washi just as contrast. They're great horizontals because I like to do my memory planning on the horizontal. So I love this down at the bottom of the ledger, so it continues that horizontal movement of the lines of the ledger, but I need some black contrast to those photos, and so this black washi is absolutely perfect, as well as it picks up that gold that are in the sprigs that are in the clusters that I have at the top left and bottom right there. So isn't that perfect? It just is the perfect amount of balance, plus then you have that horizontal of the ripped paper, which now I'm going to add that green washi to. See, perfect balance. So you've got the washi top and left, you've got the poinsettias top and bottom, and it creates a nice, so there's no visual triangle, but it creates nice balance to the page. I'm going to put this acetate down with some liquid adhesive. I love that blue pen because you can see where it's going. And then I have this extra sprig, which in a way could create that visual triangle because of the sprigs. There's 3 clusters per se, and that creates a strong dominant cluster there. So I will journal offline, and that, my friends, is going to wrap up the layout. Enjoy the close-ups. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. Come back again soon. Take care.